Now, right, kids are more educated, and when kids are more educated, they think that they are wiser out of their own proportion. I have this opinion, and this opinion the cult follows, therefore everyone has this kind of mentality. Just say.
So there's always a lot happening in the world, and compared to maybe 15-20 years ago, youths now are more exposed to politics and the affairs that are happening around the world. From wars to controversial politics to how others are treated in other countries. They are talked about in social media, and there are more channels and forums that youth will subscribe to, and these will naturally lead to them taking sides and even wanting answers from our government from the stance they take. So as young Singaporeans increasingly want to have access to like facts, narrative, and spaces for them to have a say, right? Recently in the parliamentary sitting, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Vivian, was questioned if there are consideration on creating more spaces for organized discussion for these people. So he said that discussions become that much harder when it comes to like life issues because the emotions are raw, the event is still ongoing, and also there's a certain amount of urgency to it. So it's not always possible to have a dispassionate remote discussion. So in this social media age, right, okay, we cannot give it some time and then discuss it later for life issues. So because the option is not available today, right, okay, because of social media, Vivian said that there are plans to set up this space as it's important to provide these people to have a space to have structured discussion with a goal of shedding more light than heat to the events that are happening around the world. So do you think that this is the right direction to take, or do you think that it is unnecessary?
I think it can't hurt, it can only help. What exactly is the demographic of this group of people?
I would say youth, so people like in JC, Poly,
Okay.
And maybe below 30s.
Okay. Can we assume that they at least have a decent grasp of the issue?
Wow.
Or maybe not?
This one is maybe not.
Okay. Okay.
That's the thing, because one issue is, right, why should you set out this space, right, based on like discussion on foreign policies or whatnot? I feel like if you want to discuss on like, you know, the time Lawrence Wong talk about HDB and whatnot, right, you have questions about things that is internal in the country, right? Yeah, we can address it. They know exactly what is going on already. But like everything around the world, right, there's so many different factors affecting that. There are treaties, there are tensions going on, there is history also. Yeah.
And our position as a country.
So you us as like individual in the country, right, we do not face all this situation. But as a country as a whole, right, they are the one that facing all this kind of tension and whatnot lah. So why do the youngsters, right, have a say or should have a say, right, or want to have a say, right, in this situation?
In how we view all this.
And I feel it's because of social media lah. Like, you know, recently there are a lot of wars happening, and maybe there are some parties that are mistreated. So when all these are blasted in social media and when pages take sides and whatnot, right, certain things that maybe our government do, they disagree. Or there could be more things that the government can be doing and they are not doing as per their perspective. So this is when then they want to maybe have some facts or a narrative from the government to explain their stance in this situation and what's the rationale behind the action that they take.
I think it is good lah, because people will have their own opinions on things. Even when it comes to like the HDB issue and all, right, if you know enough, you probably will not have an issue. So the forum that Lawrence Wong was in, it's basically to educate them. You have your concerns, let me share with you why we have thought through this multiple times and we reached a final conclusion because of certain things that you may have overseen.
And this is local, no. Foreign affairs, how much can you know and how much can you clarify? How much facts can you as an individual in the country that is not there have? Yeah, so the clarity I feel would be way lesser than the forums set up for HDB.
I'm just a bit puzzled because for government to launch out something, it's not like suka-suka, you know, just come out from somewhere one. It's usually they quite stringent with the data, especially that they have based on the stats throughout a period of time, right? They receive a lot of information, then they deduce a policy or a project like this. So I feel, right, like they must have noticed something online perhaps that our youngsters are shifted towards a different side of things. So if let's say I can bring them to one platform, I can actually guide them or like view what their thoughts are. I can manage this thing better rather than let it like go out like a wildfire randomly like that.
And it is exactly what they observe. They feel that the temperature for certain events nowadays, right, is a lot higher than before because of social media. Youths are engaging in all this discussion by themselves. The temperature towards these events is high, and sometimes, right, okay, when you don't have safe spaces for discussion, they start to see like unbridled, unhinged, and also unfair portrayals of the event in social media. And social media is dominating. This is what they have accepted. So they feel that by creating all these safe spaces, right, okay, they will shed more light than heat, like might shed.
Let's all just calm down and let's talk.
There are probably two reasons why they're doing this, right? The first reason is because if your citizens are not thinking right, that is an issue for you as a leader. That's one thing. The second thing is, if they're not thinking right and this is going to directly affect your next election, that is also something to consider.
I feel it's a bit more like damage control like that. So you put this venue out for them to lash it out. Of course, I don't think that the elites will, or like the right people who are doing the right policy will do so much of the
What
voice.
they-
It's more for them to
Appease
to
the
voice
youngsters.
to
Because
let
it's-
them voice out.
It's exactly like what Shavi mentioned just now, where people who know enough will most probably not question
They won't
certain
have an
things.
issue.
Yeah, most probably the majority of the students they have a problem with, or youth who have problems with all these type of things. They will not sit through hours and hours and hours and hours of parliamentary sitting, debates, world conference, and then they ask themselves, do I feel that? Then they make their decision, or then they feel.
It's
Normally
always
it's
the
they feel
headline.
first and then they shoot.
It's always they look at the headline. Okay, then they
Yeah.
judge already based on
So
that.
whatever they discuss, okay, I feel that in this forum, maybe they will water it down, or maybe they'll reiterate certain points for the youth to understand.
I get the sense that election thing is one of the primary motives, and it is a right way to look at it also, because today if now you have a very strong majority in a group that is probably going to get the chance to vote soon, and they are against your natural stance on things, like almost every policy you come up with, they are naturally against it. When they get the chance to start voting, even if they are agreeable to your future things, because of the way they've already felt about you for so long, they want to effect change. Like a lot of these people on social media, they're saying, oh, next election when I can vote, I'm gonna change, make some change happen. So what these guys are probably thinking is, okay, let's try to preempt what's gonna happen. Let's look at this as a chance to maybe turn a few of them around. Because if you can turn a few of them around and they can actually contradict those who are against us, maybe there's a chance these people might come on our side. Just like the HDB thing, right? When Lawrence Wong went in, and naturally if you know everything, you would agree with him right from the start. But there were people who voiced certain views, and these views were predominant amongst the mass. When he shared with them his rationale and they agreed, now when this is broadcasted on social media, anyone who says the old things like, hey, no, this is not right and stuff, now they will be wrong. And the people who have been on the forum and the people who now hold those views, they can tell them, hey, actually no, you watch this part. This is the reason why. So when it comes to certain other issues, I feel sometimes a bit touchy, like the issue about Israel and Palestine and all. But if let's say they can turn a few people around and these people can influence others,
There'll be the ripple effect
yeah,
for votes. And I feel it's a healthy way of doing things. Win-win situation. Your views are more informed. They are aligned with you. You get your votes.
It's win-win if you win.
A lot of the youths are getting this type of thinking from where social media. Okay, so I want to ask you guys, do you feel that pages or channels that have the reach to influence youth with political thinking should be held accountable to a certain extent, as they are not controlled and sometimes not accurate with the things that they post? Because currently the only measure they have against this type of things is POFMA. Other than POFMA, do you think that they should be held more accountable?
I think have to.
Okay, what is an example of accountability in this case?
Maybe the stopping of the page.
Okay.
That's both mama of that one.
No. Pohma doesn't
just of that
sponsor,
one
just correction on it.
article.
I feel they have to fact find first, like tell the truth and don't stir shit.
Example of such pages, right?
Here
is
we
like
go again.
Wake Up Singapore. Although I
Number one perpetrator of falsehoods.
okay, yes,
The
okay.
golden ladder of Singapore, the stir shit number one, I tell you.
Their stance, right, is biased one. 100% biased. They are towards the opposition. But right, whatever they are spreading, right, it's not really false information, but I feel it's either lack of information or they just nitpick on certain things that the government is doing.
That is the most of it, but there is a bit of false info also.
Yeah, and those false info, right, that's why the government can issue POFMA to them.
But do you think then the omission of certain facts and then the nitpicking of certain things, right, is correct? Because that molds the idea of the youth, ma?
Those are the issues that they find with the government, ma. So I feel it's fair game for them to share that, hey, your government is doing this. It's the same as us, right, having our own thinking that, hey, you know what, maybe WP or PSP, right, is not doing the right thing.
Okay, but when we do it, do we allow all the facts to be on the table? We do what?
Based on what we understand, yeah.
But we do what? Even from the opposition camp also, we always lay out everything that they say.
Okay.
We don't nitpick our data.
And I think it's like for Wake Up Singapore, right, when they nitpick already, you know what they do in the caption?
Exaggerate.
Yeah, and they will like try to really
they
stir,
they
no?
paint a
Yeah.
new narrative.
Yeah, they
So
really
people
stir.
feel that this is the case, whereas this is just one side of it.
And I want to add on to when they add on to it, right? Usually like, you know, us or like the parents who will watch, you know, as in like 30, 40, 20 plus. And when they read all these things, right, you know who they talk to or not? Or they will probably talk to their partners at home or whoever, right? You know who are the ones that got rub off, no? It's the future Singaporean kids, no? When I have students come and tell me nasty things of what Singapore, like the government Singapore is not good, all these kind of things. Then I ask, where do you hear from this? Then I'm like, why are you so biased at the age of like P5, P4? Who tell you all these things? To a point where they don't understand things, but yet they have that kind of view, you know. Then they say that next time I'm not gonna vote for certain party. And I feel like this is not right. Wrong information are out there, and then and then based on that, people take it as a surface level, and then it spreads like
And it starts from young.
wildfire.
The moment when you have that idea, it's very hard to change it.
Yeah, and I was shocked, you know, and it's not just one or two, it's a lot of students. I'm like, wow, like where you hear this from?
Because I feel the main issue is on the opposition side, right? People are very vocal about this. You get it right, you get it wrong, they still talk about it. On the other side, you get it right or you get it wrong, they still will not really challenge unless now there is an obvious falsehood that
That
is
you're wrong.
changing the public perception on things. Then they issue stuff. But they don't come out and like debate you on things and you don't see even people like not just the main guys, but even like people who are agreeable with their ideas, they don't come out and debate the other side.
I feel these unfair images, right, that they paint, right, actually helps the government a lot.
If they can actually
Because-
turn the candle around.
Singapore is always defending, no? Like you say, they don't have actual like propaganda, right? But they are always defending. I mean, the government is always defending, and they are always winning. And then we can see who are the rest of the jokers are. You know, understand? Yeah, and that's why they don't have to really outrightly talk about things. We just let things happen, lah. You whatever you want to say can, but you know that who's the best there.
But because, you know, like what we say, right, the mindset when you are young, if you are it's still inside, no matter, a lot of them, if you go and see, no matter what the government say, they will still just hate blindly.
I think technology really plays a huge important role. I was just wondering, like, based on all these conversations, like last time, right, like our parents' era, they are not so informed with all these, things around. Like at most you're gonna watch the TV based on the parliament speech, but then will you really watch? You don't really watch. You just see, okay, you know, like the government is doing something good for us. Okay, let's go with that. But now, right, kids are more educated, and when kids are more educated, they think that they are wiser, out of their own proportion. So they think that they are all good. They think that they are all smart, and because I am all good, all smart, I have this opinion, and this opinion the crowd follows. Therefore, everyone has this kind of mentality. So, and it's hard to tear each other apart when the chopsticks are all hold together. So I felt like, and it becomes like a real ripple effect. Yeah, so
They overestimate their intellect.
Yeah.
So this safe space, maybe the first thing they should say, you are not as smart as you think you are.